Hello, this is Keenan Park, and this is Wylock 4th grade lesson 12 worksheet. For our first section, we have multiplying fractions. And so when you multiply fractions, how you do it is you multiply the top, the numerator, and you multiply the bottom, the denominator. When you multiply these together, and then that's your new fraction. So in this case, the fraction will be 1 times 1 on the top and 2 times 2 on the bottom, which is just 4. So 1/2 times 1/2 is 1/4. So it's pretty simple. Just multiply the top and the bottom. And if there's anything that cancels out, just simplify. So in this case, there's a 1 at the top because 1 times 1 is 1. And then 3 times 2 on the bottom, which is 6. This is 2/5 over 1 times 1/2. So you can write it as 2 times 1, which is 2. And then 5 times 2, which is 10. But this is actually, we'll simplify to 1/2. Or 1/5, sorry. And you can tell this would happen because there's a 2 on the top and the bottom, which means that they will cancel out. And they just become 1s. So 1 times 1 is 1, 5 times 1 is 5. So that's how you get 1/5. In this case, a very similar thing happens. 3/5 times 5/3. 3 and the 3 cancel out as 1 and 1. But the 5 and the 5 also cancel out 1 and 1. So you get 1 times 1 over 1 times 1, which equals 1. And so you can notice that this fraction is essentially just the first one flipped upside down. So the blue one is just the purple one flipped upside down. And when you flip a fraction upside down, like if we have a over b, b over a is what we call its reciprocal. It's the multiplicative inverse. And so one thing about reciprocals is if you multiply a fraction by its reciprocal, you will always get 1 because these cancel out. Okay, 4/6 times 1/2. We can solve this straight up, or we could just simplify first because 4/6 is actually the same as 2/3. Now it's 2/3 times 1/2. 2 and the 2 cancel out, so we just get 1/3. 5 over 7 times 2 over 3. 5 times 2 is 10. 7 times 3 is 21. So it's 10 over 21. 7 times 3, 21. 8 over 4, 32. And lastly, 4 times 2 is 8. 1 times 3 is 3. Next, we move on to adding fractions. Adding fractions is actually a little bit more complicated than multiplying because you have to make sure the denominators are the same first. 1/2 plus 1/2, they are already the same. So in this case, you put that denominator on the bottom, no change, and then you add the top, so 1 plus 1, which just gets you 2 over 2, which equals 1. Second one is a little spicier. The denominators are different. This means that we have to find a common denominator. And the way we do that is we find their least common multiple. And then if you remember that from the last lesson, you can use prime factorization to find that or whatever. In this case, the least common multiple is just them multiplied together. So that would be 6 and 6. So to convert 1/3 to something over 6, we multiply the top and the bottom by 2, and we'll get 2 over 6. And then we do times 3 for the 2 to get 3 over 6. And now we add those together and get 2 plus 3 over 6, which equals 5 over 6. For the bottom one, no, the least common multiple is 10 for the denominators. So multiply top and bottom by 2. So we get 4/10 plus 5 and 5 to get 5/10, which equals 9/10. 3/5 plus 5/3. Find the common denominator. This one needs to be multiplied by 3. That's 9 over 15. And this one needs to be multiplied by 5. So that's 25 over 15. And this will give us 34 over 15. And then 4 over 6 plus 1 over 2. In this case, the least common multiple is just 6, so no change for the first one. And then times 3, so 3 over 6. We add those together, and we get, that's a bad plus sign, 4 plus 3 is 7 over 6. Next, we have 5 sevenths plus 2/3. The common denominator will be 21. Multiply it by 3 here. So 15 over 21 plus 7 times 2 is 14, which gives us 29 over 21. Here, the common denominator is just 8, so no change to the first one. And then times 2 to the second one, 6 over 8, which will equal 7 plus 6 is 13 over 8. And then lastly, 4 over 1 plus 2 over 3. The common denominator will be 3. So 3 times 3, or the top times 3, the bottom times 3. 12 over 3 plus 2 over 3 equals 14 over 3. And that's all for that section. And in the last section, we have some more problems. So if Alok gets $5 for every 3 books he sells, he also buy 3 IKEA furniture products for every $5 he earns. So how many IKEA products can he buy after selling 1 book? So he gets $5 for every 3 books. So we can write that as 3 books over $5, because that's like a ratio. For every 3 books, there's $5. And he also, for every $5, there's 3 IKEA furniture products. So 5 over 3 IKEA. And so how many will he be able to buy after selling 1 book? So if we just have 1 book, 1 book turns into how many dollars? Well, we can find that by saying, I wrote this one back, but I wrote both of these upside down, sorry. But $5 per 3 books. And so we can multiply, and then we'll notice that these cancel out. But before we actually do that, let's also multiply by 3 IKEA furniture products per $5. And you notice the 3 and the 3 cancel out, that the $5 and the $5 cancel out. So we just get, this is a multiplication, 1 IKEA product. So he can buy 1 IKEA product. And you will notice that 5 over 3 and 3 over 5 are reciprocals, and that's why 1 book times this, which equals 1 IKEA. Next, if Robert posts 5 Instagram stories every 7 days and Mr. Rogo posts 2 every 3 days, how many stories will they post in total after 1 day? So Robert posts 5 every 7 days. So that's 5 over 7. Mr. Rogo posts 2 every 3 days. So that's 2 over 3. And then we add them together because we're finding the total. And then so the common denominator, I'll just clear the screen, sorry. 5 over 7 plus 2 over 3. Common denominator will be 21. So we have 21, and then we have 15, because that's 5 times 3. And then 2 times 7 will be 14. And so we just get 29 over 21. Michael only attends 1/3 of his classes, and for the classes he attends, he is not paying attention half the time. So what fraction of total class time does Michael pay attention? And that's including the classes he missed. So he only attends 1/3 of classes, and for those classes, he only pays attention half the time. So we multiply them together, and we get 1/6 of class time is he actually paying attention. And then lastly, Daniel's mom brings 4 pizzas. Daniel's dad also had some leftover pizza, exactly 2/3 a whole pizza. How much pizza do they have in total? So that's 4 plus 2/3. And we want it as an improper fraction, which is what it's called when you have a fraction like a over b, where a is greater than b. So to find this, we can just say 4 is equal to 4 over 1, and then find the common denominator, which will be 3. So that's 12 over 3 plus 2 over 3, which equals 14 over 3. And that is how much pizza they have. And that's all for today. Thank you for watching.